One of the most iconic mods on the Hearts of Iron Steam Workshop page is Millennium Dawn. It's a mod that has gotten hundreds of thousands of members invested into it. It's over 330,000 at this point. And it's just phenomenal. A mod that can have that many people playing it's great. Except, what makes Millennium Dawn stand out? Well, today I'm going to start a new series, probably. It's going to be a mod review kind of series, and we're going to be taking a look at Millennium Dawn first, the most popular of all of the Hearts of Iron mods. What makes this one stand out, and is it really worth it, or is it just a bunch of hype? So, obviously we're going to do the recommended one, January 2000. A lot of people play Modern Day, but there's a lot of problems when you play Modern Day. So, let's go, and holy shit, this, while I do like seeing custom GFX, actually, none of these are custom GFX. These are. It is cool to at least see some right off the bat. Some do seem a little bland, while some look kind of nice and cool. But why some of these just don't seem really good. And also the portraits, yeah, some of them look nice, but what's this portrait? Why is it such a low resolution? I understand maybe you couldn't get the best of pictures, but you could fix this easily, especially for one of the biggest mods out there. Also, what most mods try to do is keep everything very organized. You have this like gray slash blue background for most of these portraits, so why not have all of them do that? It's really easy to do. I mean, for the Cold War mod even, they are doing ideology colored ones. Anyway, let's just do some of this. So right off the bat, you're introduced to the party support system, which is a really weird system that is in this mod. Basically, what it does is it keeps you on a historical path in many ways. It's called the popularities. In the US as social liberal, market liberal, and conservative popularities. So let's just take a look at the ideologies at first. There are a lot of them, and that can be seen as good, but a lot of them just seem like why? You have Islamist, fascist, nationalist, monarchist, reactionary, conservative, libertarian, social liberal, social democrat, progressive, socialist, communist. Pretty much the only ones that could really be taken away is either like social democrats can be kicked out and just put as social liberals or make a fusion. But other than that, they've kept it pretty rudimentary. As Iron Curtain, one of its weird things is that it has a ton of ideologies that don't really seem necessary, but they contribute because of Iron Curtain's wide scope. But one of my biggest complaints here is that it's stuck in this original small menu, and everything's so squeezed together, it feels very claustrophobic. While Iron Curtain, you have a nice separate menu just about ideologies, and it's nice. You can tell that they put some effort into releasable nations and restoring territory. Pretty basic, and that's fine, whatever. Right after that, you see two new government policies of taxes and regulated borders for the immigration policy. Immigration policy basically just seems a weird thing that isn't really done properly. Heavily regulated, lightly regulated, it's just the population and stuff. And heavy regulated is just, you have less consumer goods factories and closed borders, you have even less, your population goes down. While if you're willing to put a little bit of consumer goods factories there, you can get more population, and that just doesn't do too much, really. Political advisors are a whole mess, and they have every kind of thing you can think of. Internal intelligence, armaments organizer, experienced attorney, groom backstabber, social crusader, war industrialist, quartermaster general. It's cool. Except they have each for each major ideology for this country. Conservative and social liberal. And then they have just some ones that aren't any. And it's just it's nice, but it's not something that's completely necessary just per se. The biggest thing is the focus trees, and dear God, they're meh. The political part, which is where most players will spend most of their time, is where there's a lot of half-assed stuff. You have a lot of options: status quo, political reform, or political revolution. Status quo, keeping things normal; political reform, changing things up a bit; and political revolution, which is supposed to be that really fun and bizarre old history path, which really does lack because each of these paths is less than 20 focuses, and 4 of them both paths can do. For example, the Confederacy path only has 9 exclusive focuses with 4 that it can do, but also the Communists can do. It's really not that good. The Global Affairs is actually really nice, but really only for America because other countries get really bad ones. And it's a shame. Political reform, it's just dumb. You get like 2 focuses after you choose which ideology you want to be. And the gerrymandering, I guess it can be okay. The economy section is actually kind of cool, except the GFX is reused constantly to where you feel like you're seeing one bland mesh of things. There is some cool GFX, like with this icon, or this one, or this one. But you only see those once or twice, which is how they're supposed to be. But then the rest are just bland GFX that is just dumb. At least the political sections, you see some nice GFX, for the most part. However, the tech tree, well, actually, let's take a look at decisions. Decisions are really fun in this, and I like it. Yeah, I know they haven't done too much with decisions because there hasn't been a major update since 1.5, which added them, just a small one that added these, and I like it. I really hope they take more here, like diplomacy towards Palestine and Taiwan. Don't give me a whole list of stuff, but it's kind of cool. One of the game-breaking things, though, is NATO, because NATO basically makes the game unfun to play. You can't attack any neighboring countries for the majority of the game, or you'll face all of NATO. And here's the bigger part. It's not how NATO actually works. NATO is a defensive alliance unless it comes to war with like Russia, where it could be offensive if it wants. That's how Iron Curtain did it. They made it a national spirit, and it worked really well, to where it's all event chains if you can join a war against Russia. However, offensive war shouldn't really be that way. For example, if Greece attacks Albania, not all of NATO should be chiming in against Albania. It really does slow down the game, and not really slow it down, but just make it unfun, because there isn't any room to really improve. And that's why many mods just take away NATO altogether, but in the end, that can't make cool things such as NATO versus Russia, or something like that happen. So, you really do have to choose. Then it comes down to the tech tree, which is just not good. The worst part is the engineering section, which is so bland. You have 10 techs that you can do, because these 4 are already researched. And those 10 techs go up to 2008. They don't even last the whole time. The atomic research is not done correctly because almost all countries have atomic research and nuclear reactors. They just don't have nuclear bombs. Plus, nuclear bombs were made back in the 40s and 50s. Why is it 2014? If you don't have it, yes, it could take a while to make, but add the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty as a national spirit. Do that. Make it something that you can do in decisions. That would be cool. Industry is nice. At least they've changed it up. However, it still just feels really spread out and not that good. You get 2 to 3 engineerings every, 2 to 4 years. And it goes all the way to 2030 at least, so it's better, but they could improve it, but it's at least substantial. Infantry is not fun. It goes up to 2030, you can get this really cool assault rifle, it seems, but it's a long time. Up from 2000 to 2030, there are 3 major guns you can do. The M4, which is 8 years in the future, so you're not getting that anytime soon. And support battalions, they're, man, at least you get a bunch of options to do before you go to 2000. And, well, at least it's 2003. So you do have to wait a bit, but it's fun at least, and support battalions are never really the focus. Tanks have the similar problem to guns, where they're spread out between multiple year milestones. However, here at least there are major options. From 2000, from 1990 to 2000, you get 4 tanks to do. Even though I'm pretty sure America had the Humvee in 2000. However, the tanks go all the way down to 2030, which is kind of cool, and there are multiple options for each milestone. Artillery, however, it's okay, and actually artillery is one of the strongest points for this mod. Even though it goes only to 2015, it's artillery, and that's okay. The doctrines haven't changed at all, but when you get down to the ships, why are there just these bland things? Like, I understand GFX isn't what everything has, like, it's a problem sometimes, but why does the US not have 1980 Cold War transport ships? Huh? And the ships go all the way to 2030? But they're really bland. 2020 to 2030, you get 2 here and 1 in 2030. It's not fun. The ships are really spread out and have that major problem. Up to 2010, you can get some substantial stuff with the corvettes and frigates, but it's not that good. The airplanes, they're decent at, honestly. You get 2 to 3 options every milestone, which is much closer together than what you've seen with guns and Navy. 2000 you have 3 options, 2004 you have 1, 2006 you have 1, 2008 you have 1. While these all seem very spread out, at least in the later game you have a bit more. There is a big, like, blank spot from 2006, or 2004 to 2010, but from 2014 onwards, you do get some nice airplanes to get. And then let's just take a look at some more focus trees, because it's just... France's focus tree has the French economy section, which is already seen to be smaller than America. And they have a nice political tree, honestly. Using the French Revolution lines as separate sections for Liberté to be the democratic, Égalité to be the communist, and Fraternité to be like the monarchist is kind of cool. The communist section is honestly one of the most well thought out communist trees in this entire mod, and I like it. It's really cool. And Liberté, well, European Dream, you're going to see this also in Italy and Germany, so it's just a French version of it, and it's really not fun to do. Even though you can, like, unite the entire European Union into a country, it takes such a long time to do it. The final focus can range from 600 to 800 days, depending on the country you're trying to do it with. Even England gets the tree, and they weren't even one of the original, like, 6 Pleven Plan members. Populist Agendas has Le Pen in it, and I really do like this, because you can either choose the father, which goes down the more nationalist Nazi approach, or you can choose the daughter, which is still, like, goes down a reactionary, still right-wing, but not as drastic and racist approach. Even though, I mean, yeah, she's still kind of racist. Anyway. It's a nice tree here, and I do like it. The French tree is honestly one of the best things until you get to Fraternité. You gotta choose 2 houses, Bonaparte or House of Bourbon. Really cool that you get 2 choices here. Except, it seems like they were originally one choice, and then just decided to split it between 2 houses. Natural borders of France, extra. All this stuff could be done in one path, except it just seems like they split it down the middle and just put one side as Bonaparte and one as Bourbon. It is kind of a letdown. However, at least there's a monarchist path to go down. Germany then has an economic system, sure, and it has ideologies, but surprisingly, Germany has a really bad ideology tree. Despite it being, in my opinion, one of the easiest countries, or most fascinating countries to go down with different ideologies, considering it's been democratic, it's been communist, it's been monarchist, it's been fascist, it's been basically every ideology you can think of other than Islamist. It's just... it's meh. It's really meh. Emphasize freedom has that European freedom path, just like always, and in this situation, it's 490 days. What a short thing. Except you have a lot leading up to it. Like the EU expansions are 140 days each. German freedom, the other path, is really bland, and yeah, you get a Holy Roman tradition, but it would have been cool to, like, make this its own thing. Instead, you just get a bunch of puppet war goals, and yeah. Communist path, it's really meh. Legacy of the GDR, you get, after you choose it, like, 5 options. Well, then you get the abandoned sections. Then World Revolution, you get a bit more with 9 total, but it's really meh. Emphasize justice has Legacy of the Kaiser or Legacy of the Reich. And these are way too similar in how they work. They're both too small, and they both are not that fun to go through. The Kaiser section, restore the throne, then Kaiserstadt. Well, you can do the weaken things and abandon friends and all that. But New Wilhelm and New Bismarck are mutually exclusive, even though that doesn't make any sense. Plus, Wilhelm gets 2 focuses, and Bismarck gets another 2, which the Nazi path can also do. So it's really, really bland, and it's not that good. The Global Affairs section is meh. It's not as good as the American one, and it's definitely very bland in the sense that you can only basically just be friends with everyone in Europe and former colonies. Yay. So it's meh. And that's what this mod ends up feeling. Very meh. A 3-focus communist path. Why? The fact that the Tsarist thing is literally just 2 focuses to do. And that the diplomacy thing is so bland for the second most powerful nation in the world. The United Kingdom now. It's just as bland, honestly. To the left, you get like 10 focuses. To the right, you get more, sure. But the throne, which is easily the easiest thing to do for Britain, because they still have a royal family, just is bland, and it's not fun. It's just a few focuses, and that's what this mod ends up feeling. Really bland, really dull. There's no custom GUI or anything. At least in Iron Curtain, you have some changes to how the buttons look on everything, and it just feels unique, while Millennium Dawn feels like someone just wanted a modern day scenario but didn't change anything else about the game, and it feels really weird. South Korea doesn't have a focus tree, nor it just doesn't make sense. North Korea doesn't even have one. Like, why? Why doesn't North and South Korea have focus trees? India doesn't have one. Syria doesn't have one. And it ends up feeling really, really dull. Not even Israel has one. Places of conflict are not fairly represented in this mod. ISIS is a steamroll in the 2016 start date and can be done within a couple days, because they're just not given enough of a fair chance like they have in real life. In real life, they've done something amazing where the world needs to have to stop them, and in this mod, they're steamrolled because, yes, it's hard to have terrorist groups in a game about World War II, but that's part of the #1 most subscribed mods. That's one of their jobs. And that's the thing, it feels bland, and I hate to say it because I used to love Millennium Dawn. I used to love it to death. I actually played Millennium Dawn before I even played Vanilla. But it's just not fun anymore. It's a bland, overrated piece of, I'm not going to say garbage, because if you've never played it, you're going to find fun in it, but you're going to need friends to play with because it's not fun in single player at all. And I hate to say it, but I think Millennium Dawn, out of all, is just a 2 out of 5. If you want to see more mod reviews, make sure you like and subscribe, and that tells me to do more of these videos.